Y'all join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call the roll, please, Mr. Summer. Mr. Gilmore. Here. Mr. Sell.
Here.
Mr. Giver.
Here.
Mrs. Voorhees.
Here.
Mrs. Gingrich.
Here.
Okay, we're going to deviate from our agenda a little bit. Believe that we were scheduled for the regular meeting to have the intermediate school, led by Mr. Wenning, present.
So we have our 5th grade math group coming in, led by Mrs. Holman, Mrs. Green, and Mr. Seifring is unable to be here tonight. They did a kind of real life project, and it's pretty cool. So we got a lot of kids. Parents, thank you for bringing your students outside of school. That's awesome. So I'm going to let Mrs. Holman lead that, and you guys can start coming this way.
All right, so we took, like Mr. Wenning said, Mr. Green, myself, and Mr. Seifring, took one of our chapters, which is adding and subtracting decimals, and decided that we'd done a lot of book work. It was time to kind of deviate from the book and let's make it real life. So we decided to have the kids, they were in groups of 3, make a store that they could sell these pretend items to. And then to show us that they understood the concept, they had to make a test for their students, test for the other students, going over some of our standards, adding and subtracting decimals, taking some of the products. If I gave you $20, what could you buy? Could we round our numbers? Could we order them into the most expensive to the least expensive, or vice versa, least to greatest price? So they had a lot of fun. These posters are really good. We took about 2 weeks in class to hit all of the skills and for them to design with their group and for them to create a test. It was kind of fun for them to create a test because they kind of understand what Mrs. Green and I go through trying to make tests. So if you guys want to spread out, come down here. And I'll let Sydney and Sophia turn around. Put your posters up. They're very nice. So tell them what you made and your name of the store.
Okay, our store is called SSK, and these are our products that we sell. Our first one is the banana. It's a banana, but we made it with a banana charger. So all you have to do is get a banana and a cord, and you plug them both in, and it will work. And then we have a KFI. You only put one S because mine says it's not S. But yeah, that's fun. And our next item is a tablet.
So this was one group's presentation. They decided to go with the technology because that's the basis this generation is in.
Yeah.
Very nice. Moving on. Miss Abby couldn't have any of her group members here, but she decided she would be brave and tell us about her story.
Our store is called Palios, and PAL stands for Hidden Alligator. And our items are tacos, enchiladas, quesadillas, churros, a dragon berry drink, and
That's what they were doing. And very nice. And then we have Braylon.
my store is called Bulldog Store. I thought I'd change it up from being green to blue. We have sweatpants, a jacket, a bulldog mug, a poster, a headband, and
And then Miss Haley.
our store is called Dazarin, and our items we have are tuxes, dresses, shoes, skirts, hairwear, and
All right, these are a couple of my students. This is Kaden Morgan, Brooke Walker,
and Elena Gray. And a couple of my stores are more like restaurants, so I'm gonna let them tell you a little bit about theirs.
Our restaurant is called Mercer. We have peanut butter jelly pizza, mac and cheese pizza, breakfast pizza, ice cream pizza, burger pizza, and wine pizza.
And doesn't that sound awesome? So yes, they did an awesome job. So
It's basically just like it's like kind of like a pizza, but like it's like frozen like ice cream on top.
sounds delicious. All right, and next, these are just two big members. This is Tegan Bush and this is Ellie Luce, and they did amazing glazing. Tell me a little bit about this.
So we are a cafe. We sell coffee and donuts. We have different kind of donuts, like the leaf donut. This is Christmas when we're making this stuff. We have Reese's donuts. We have chocolate dream. And then we have a hot cocoa blast, chocolate latte, and regular black coffee.
And this group also brought us some donuts the day that they presented. So yeah, the kids enjoyed the six, like I said, it's about 2 weeks for them, but they ended up learning all of the skills and then were able to test on them, and they had fun doing it.
All right, the next item we have on the agenda is election of officers for 2019. And we'll call for nominations of the president.
I'd like to nominate Bill Salon. Mr. Salon for president, please.
I'd like to go ahead and nominate Carl Weaver.
Thank you. Which usually we have seconds.
Yeah, we need a second first.
Oh,
I don't think
This is just a nomination.
Yeah. Oh,
So it's a roll call vote now.
Oh.
Okay,
It's just open the nominations and then it's just a vote.
so we have 2 nominations. Any further nominations? You want us to, as you call the roll, I'm assuming we say
You say who you want to be.
Okay.
Mrs. Voorhees.
How are we doing this, please?
Just saying, just the name.
Either Mr. Sell or Mr. Huber.
Okay, Mr. Salon.
Mrs. Gingrich.
Mr. Huber.
Mr. Huber.
I'll vote for myself.
Mr. Gilmore.
Mr. Huber?
And Mr. Sell.
Well, I think if the tally's correct, it doesn't really matter how I vote.
You are.
But I guess I would vote for myself, thank you.
All right. Nominations for vice president?
Okay, then I'll nominate Mr. Salon for that one.
I'll nominate Deb. Ms. Gingrich.
Any other nominations? Call the roll, please.
Okay, Mrs. Voorhees.
Mr. Salon.
Mr. Huber.
Mrs. Gingrich.
Mrs. Gingrich.
That's myself.
Mr. Sell.
Myself.
And Mr. Gilmore.
Mrs. Gingrich? motion to set the agenda?
Do you want to?
Oh, we gotta do the oath of office, yes, and then I get to go down to the end. Carl, I have missed Mr.
Huber and Mrs. Gingrich, rise please. I'll just- Do you solemnly swear that you will support the Constitution of the State of Ohio and the Constitution of the United States, and that you will faithfully perform and discharge your duties as President and Vice President of the Board of Education of the Salon City School District in Mercer County, Ohio?
I do.
Congratulations. Carl?
Are you sure? Do we usually change places? No?
I'm just saying, I really just want to say I'm sorry.
Sounds good.
You can control me.
Sorry, aren't you?
I am hard.
Okay, so, looks like we did the oath. Next item on the agenda is, first of all, thank you for the nominations and the votes. I appreciate it. We'll move on to setting the agenda. Do we have a motion to set the agenda?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Tom, you want to call?
Mr. Gilmore?
Aye.
Mr. Sell?
Yes.
Mrs. Gingrich?
I,
Mrs. Voorhees?
Yes.
Mr. Huber?
Yes. All right, next item, appointment of board liaisons. I think I'm gonna stick with tax abatement liaison.
I'd like to stay with the community.
Okay.
I'd like to stay with legislative.
Okay.
I'm good with Head Start.
All right.
and not least in achiever.
All right. Do we have a motion to make a consensus agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Do you want to go over this? Okay. Item A on the agenda is to establish the board meetings, times and dates for 2019. So we have all those on the agenda. Do you need to elaborate on the dates?
No, just, I would add that the February date and the August date are 1 week earlier than the third Monday.
Yeah.
And I was gonna ask as to why August was moved up.
That's moved up so that we can get teacher contracts approved prior to the start of the school year.
Okay. Now, next item is to authorize the treasurer to pay bills that are presented, provide the available appropriate accounts approved by the Board of Education, invest interim and inactive funds at the most productive interest rates whenever funds are available, and request advances on local taxes due to the school, district, and county auditor when funds are available, along with the president and the Board of Education. Next item is resolution to establish a board service fund, Salon Board of Education, an amount of $7,500, which is the maximum allowable. Next, item D is approve the following organizational resolutions. Appointment of Dr. Ken Schmeising and Tom Summer as purchasing agents for the school district during the year 2019. Authorize the superintendent to employ temporary personnel as needed for emergency situations. Personnel will be presented for approval by the board at the next meeting and/or special meeting. Authorize the treasurer and the superintendent to attend professional meetings with outside the school district and benefit the school district. Authorize the memberships in the following organizations: Ohio Association of School Business Officials, Buckeye Association of School Administrators, Ohio School Board Association, American Association of School Administrators, American Vocational Association, Ohio Vocational Association, Ohio Trade and Industrial Education Association, Vocational Supervisors Association, Salon and Mercer County Chamber of Commerce, Grand Lake Safety Council, Northwest Ohio Educational Research Council. Number 5, authorize payment of out-of-pocket expenses for the TriStar Advisory Council, members representing city schools. And looks like that was it. Do we have any removals or additions to that agenda? If not, I'll ask for a motion.
Action. Just have you call the roll.
Mr. Gilmore.
Aye.
Mr. Sell.
Yes.
Mrs. Voorhees.
Yes.
Mrs. Gingrich.
Aye.
Mr. Huber.
Yes. Looks like a board declaration of insurance coverage. A board member is entitled to purchase and pay for 100% of the premium for the health and dental. Tom, you want to go through those?
Yes. Mr. Gilmore.
No and no.
Mrs. Gingrich.
No and no.
Mr. Huber.
No and no.
Mr. Sell.
No and no.
And Mrs. Voorhees.
No, no.
All right. Looks like moving on, we'll go ahead and jump into our, after this organization meeting, we're jumping into our regular board meeting. This meeting is the meeting for the Board of Education and the public for the purpose of conducting the school district's business. It is not considered a public community meeting. There is time, however, for public participation during the meeting indicated in the agenda. If you would like to speak, we do have a sign-up sheet up here. All right, so the meeting's called to order. We already did. Do you want to do it again? Pledge of allegiance? No? Okay. All right. Tom, you want to do a roll call?
Mr. Huber.
Yes. Sorry.
Mrs. Gingrich.
Here.
Mrs. Voorhees.
Yes.
Mr. Sell.
What do we do? Is this?
This is just roll call.
Here.
Mr. Gilmore.
Someone approved.
Here and yes.
Okay.
Before we set the agenda, I marked on the board members' agendas, we are deleting item B4 under section 5, the assistant superintendent's report. The gentleman needs to be improved at Head Start Council before coming to this board for approval. Letter B4 under number 5.
All right, with that removal, do we have a motion to consensus?
So moved.
I'll second.
All right, treasurer's report. Tom, you want to take it away?
Is that to set the agenda?
Set the
To the
agenda.
agenda, yes.
Yeah, let me set the agenda.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Sell.
Yes.
Mrs. Gingrich.
Aye.
Mr. Gilmore.
Aye.
Mrs. Voorhees.
Yes.
Mr. Huber.
Yes. Okay, reception in public, we already had the CIS students. Shelley Busey with AMBE brought the update.
Thanks.
Okay.
Thank you for allowing me to present information to share.
Pass it down if you want.
So my name is Shelley Bussey, and I'm with the Mercer Business Education Alliance. So, Mr. Schmeezing, I just offered to provide an update. So the Mercer Business Education Alliance is really a connector between the schools and the businesses. My goal is to help the businesses speak kind of a common language for the schools and vice versa, and really to help make connections between our high school students and our businesses. We hold a lot of different events to help perpetuate that. An example of that would be the Talent Connection Forum, so that'll be coming up here in March.
and that's for high school juniors in Auglaize and Mercer County. And what we do is we ask students to choose areas of career interest, and then we bring in career professionals. And it's very small groups, so it's 6 to 8 students per business professional. So they have a really good opportunity to have some good conversation about what does that career look like, what kind of schooling do I need, what's the job outlook, etc. The AMBI organization also hosts teacher tours in the summer, and those have been very popular. So the teachers spend the day about at 6 different businesses and learn about different careers and what kind of skills are needed so they can align their curriculum appropriately. So the organization has been in effect for about 5 years, and you can see on the paper I handed out, we do have a website, and you can see some of the other different events that AMBI supports and helps to coordinate. This year, one of the things that we did was a job shadow for teachers. So we did this with New Knoxville schools during high school parent-teacher conferences. Instead of the teachers meeting with parents, because not a lot of parents come in at the high school level, we brought the teachers out to businesses, and they spent 2 to 3 hours out at a business. So again, the goal is just to help make that connection between the students and the businesses, so the students understand what kind of amazing companies we have in this area, and for also the students to understand more about career exploration instead of trying to figure it out maybe after high school, to learn more about it during high school. So you'll see some of the services that we offer, and then on the last page, Amy's had the opportunity to present at the Ohio School Board meeting, State School Board meeting. We did that in December. We've also been very involved with an organization at the state level called Success Bound, which is all about connecting businesses and schools, and we've had the opportunity to do some presentations there as well. Do you have any questions? So part of the legislature that came down last year was that each school should have a business advisory council. The AMBI organization functions as the business advisory council. So I keep the Auglaize County and the Mercer County ESC. I attend their board meetings, but I also offer to go around to the local schools, so just so you guys could learn a little bit more about AMBI.
Where do you typically have the job fairs that you
they're all over the place. So this past October, we did the first ever senior event, and we held that at Eldora Speedway. So that was a lot of fun and a lot of challenges because we held that with Dark County and Shelby County. So it was a lot of students, but it was Eldora did a great job helping us host that. The Talent Connection Forum we hold at Wright State Lake Campus because we need such a big area, and we do that during their spring break. So we kind of take over the whole campus for a day and a half. So it just kind of, it kind of depends.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, next we have Steve Stewart or Eric Langer for CEA. Any?
John Gooder has something to present on behalf of CEA.
Thanks, Eric. All right, Salon board members, I'd like to take this opportunity to speak regarding our district's finances. My name is John Gudorf, and I'm a 7th grade math teacher and CEA member. Since the beginning of this school year, CEA bargaining unit employees have had to endure several mistakes involving our district's finances. These errors include a delayed longevity step, a delay in supplemental back pay, a skipped CEA union dues date, several teachers not receiving insurance contribution on January 10th, several new teachers not receiving a $300 deposit for pre-contracted work days, and what I believe is the biggest error, an inaccurate 5-year forecast. Although all of these errors have impacted teachers negatively, this most egregious error, the current 5-year forecast, could have a tremendous effect on teachers, students, and community members for years to come. On October 25th, our treasurer submitted a 5-year forecast to the Ohio Department of Education. This forecast was not approved by the Salon Board of Education until November 19th, 2018. I understand that ODE requires the 5-year forecast to be submitted before the end of October, and due to an extended negotiations period, the normal process of having the board approve the forecast before submitting to ODE was altered. However, this current 5-year forecast does not include an accurate representation of the recently approved CEA and Salon Board of Education contract. In fact, the forecast submitted to ODE by Tom Sommer on October 25th represents all teachers taking the OPSI 3-year financial package, and those percentages were 2.25%, 2%, and 2%, and all teachers taking the district's HSA plan and receiving a contribution. Salina teachers did not accept this plan. What Salina teachers actually agreed to was a smaller raise, which was a 1%, 2%, 2.6%, a reinstated step, and a longevity stipend. We believe the current teacher contract actually cost the board less than the OPSI contract that is represented in the 5-year forecast. Also, due to the adoption of a high deductible health care plan with an HSA, it is likely that more teachers decline the board's insurance plan than in past years. If this were the case, the board is saving extra money on insurance, a savings which is not included in the 5-year forecast. In total, we believe the board will spend less over the next 5 years than what is indicated in the 5-year forecast sent to ODE on October 25th, 2018. All of this is important to mention in light of recent whispers of possible cuts or reduction in teaching positions before 2019-2020 school year. How can cuts even be discussed at this time when it is a fact that the current 5-year forecast is inaccurate? Salina teachers and the community deserve an explanation as to why a flawed financial forecast is being used to possibly diminish a strong body of experienced and eager teachers. I ask that you provide an accurate estimate for the 2021 ending cash balance because the $491,231 deficit currently listed on the ODE website is simply wrong. With our current contract, CEA acknowledges that the Board of Education took a very positive and significant step in repairing past damages done by former boards. CEA looks forward to continuing to build a stronger and more functional relationship with both this board and the community. And we hope that this board will continue to be known for its willingness to be open and hear from its teachers and community members. We simply ask that you, the Board of Education, provide our community and teachers with accurate information when presenting and dealing with the district's finances. As you consider the possibility of cuts to staffing and programming, which will, in our opinion, weaken the current educational strength of our district, please take into consideration that this most recent 5-year forecast is inaccurate and thus should not be the basis of any long-term planning. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. We will move on. Is Carol Henderson here with OPSI? If not, okay. Number 5 is here, January 2019 is 2019 is the School Board Recognition Month. Looks like we have some presents here, okay?
You do. You actually do have certificates in front of you as well as some goodies there. January is School Board Recognition Month, so in sincere appreciation for exemplary leadership and service to public schools, we want to recognize all board members for their service to Salina City Schools. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay.
My Head Start preschoolers may do a thank you card.
Okay. Cool.
How many little hands do you have on there?
I'm thinking 34 on yours.
Very nice, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. We'll go ahead and move on for approval of the consensus agenda. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All right. Now, Tom, it's your turn.
Okay, I'm asking you to approve the minutes of the December 17, 2018 meeting. Approve the December financial summary report showing $1.63 million in revenues and $3.05 million in expenditures. Approve the investment control report as of December 31st, 2018, with an ending balance of $21,424,134.22. Approve the December 2018 SM2 report. Approve the December 2018 checks written for $2.759 million. Approve some additional activity budgets for 2019. Also asking you to approve a tax rebate for J.E. Miller property, Salon Precision Machine, as presented by the City of Salina, 100% for 15 years, about $450,000 in improvements. Number 8 is to agree to a compensation agreement with J.E. Miller property for the tax revenue foregone as a result of the tax exemption. Number 9, approve the health reimbursement arrangement for Medicare eligible employees, also covered by the district's health plan. Number 10 is approve the amounts and rates as determined by the Budget Commission and authorizing the necessary tax levies and certifying them to the county auditor for the district. Number 11 is to approve the amounts and rates as determined by the Budget Commission and authorizing the necessary tax levies and certifying them to the county auditor for the TriStar bond levy. And lastly, the acceptance of donations, $1,540 from the Mercer County Civic Foundation for the Chicago Art Trip, $1,000 from RCS construction funds to be used to pay off student lunch debt and help those students in need, and another $500 from Women and Moose, and those funds are to be used to pay off student lunch debt and help those students in need.
Okay, thank you, Tom. Do we have any questions on the treasurer's report? If none, we'll move on. For the assistant.
Under personnel for the assistant superintendent's report, recommending that you approve the following substitutes for this school year: Joanne Bunley, Juanita Sawmiller, Gary Finley, Abby Sutter, and Carla Kessler. Also want you to approve to accept the resignation of Carla Bromer, Head Start teacher, effective January 17th. Approve a 60-day probationary period for Terry Smith. Number 5, approve a change of contract for Janet Adams, 1 deduct day, Mary Jo Alec, 5 deduct days, and then a change of contract for Craig Brewering from custodian to maintenance employee. He has completed his probationary period.
Any questions on the assistant superintendent's report? If not, we'll move on to the report.
Superintendent's report. We've got 2 substitutes approved for this school year: Elizabeth Eulenhake and Josie Winter. And then we have change of contracts: Cassandra Holstat, 2 deduct days; Jenna Hodge, 5 deduct days; Annie Holman, 1 deduct day; Wendy Mitchell Payne, 2 deduct days. Then we have supplemental contracts: Kyle White, head middle school track; Stuart Watson, assistant middle school track; Ryan Jenkins, half of the boys tennis. That's assistant tennis. Number 7, approve the following personnel for pupil activity programs: Kyle Minnick, assistant middle school track; Lauren McDonough, assistant middle school track. Jan Morrison will pick up the other half of the boys' assistant tennis. Then we have the following volunteers for 2018-19: Kevin Lockwood for wrestling, Katie Kerr for softball. And we have the following athletic workers to be approved: Brian Sweeterman, Missy Guggenbiller. Following that, we have a resolution for the district cell phone reimbursement request for Jeff Everman. He's our maintenance supervisor. We do have a Head Start monthly report that is attachment number 6. And we do have the governance training with Head Start coming up this Thursday at Highmarks from 5:30 to 7. So if you could all let me know whether or not you're able to attend to see if we have to reschedule that, that would be appreciated. And the final item there is TriStar, but we don't have any TriStar report this evening.
Any question for Ken?
The only one I had was the deduct days that were requested in the last week of school. Is that something that that's acceptable to do that?
Correct. The contract talks about personal days in the last 2 weeks of school, but not about deduct days.
I have a question regarding that too, Dr. Schmusing. Is there an unofficial policy as to how many deduct days an employee can take?
There is not, because those are all change of contracts that need to be approved by the Board of Education.
Do we have any other questions, concerns? All right. If not, we'll go ahead and look for a motion for approval.
So moved.
We've already got that already.
Okay, do we have anybody want to remove anything from the agenda? Okay. Tom?
Mr. Gilmore.
Aye.
Mr. Sell.
Yes.
Mrs. Gingrich.
Aye.
Mrs. Voorhees.
Yes.
Mr. Huber.
Yes. All right.
Next, we have the second reading for board policies and guidelines. So that would be item number 6. We don't have any other informational items this evening. So next would be item number 9.
Okay. Looks like we're going to move into executive session. We're going to discuss employment. I don't believe we're going to have any further action after this, are we?
We just need a motion in a second.
Make a motion to go into executive session.
I'll second. Who was the second? Me.
Okay. Mr. Sell.
Yes.
Mr. Gilmore.
Aye.
Mrs. Voorhees.
Yes.
Mrs. Gingrich.
Aye.
Mr. Huber.
Yes. All right, we'll close this meeting. Thank you.